Chomp.
Hi everybody and welcome back to UR Supreme Toys. We're continuing our unboxing and review series of the Saurozoic Warriors from Boss Fight Studios. This time we're going to be looking at the Ceratopsian Guard. This guy looks pretty great. He's also kind of, bland. But that's because he is a generic army builder. And most generic army builders are somewhat bland in appearance. That being said, I love the magenta on the weapons. I think it looks great. He has this wonderful box art on the side, so you can buy like 100 Ceratopsian guards if you want. On the back, we have this little bio of the Ceratopsian Guard.
Handpicked by the leader of the Ceratopsian tribe, members of the Ceratops Guard pledge absolute loyalty to their leader. For generations, they have policed the lands, ensuring the strict rules are obeyed by the powerless. After their former captain, Triax Skyver, fled with the valuable contents from the vaults, they pursued relentlessly until the trail went cold. Angry at their inability to capture one they thought they knew, they doubled their efforts to find other criminals. They arrest and punish all who dare complain about living and working conditions. Hunting criminals in packs, the guards are relentless. Anger grows in the city. However, the guards are armed with the finest and most powerful weapons available, and none have tried to rise against them. Yet, while rarely seen alone, each guard is outfitted handsomely with their own spear, blaster pistol, knife, 2 smoke grenades, gas mask, and armor.
Alright, the Ceratopsian Guard, outfitted appropriately to keep the downtrodden more trodden. Okay, so same kind of packaging, very massive packaging, a lot of wasted space. I mean, this handful of accessories is easily shoved in the back, and it could have cut it in half and saved a lot of waste, really. So let's go ahead and pop this Ceratopsian Guard out. Alright, and here's the Ceratopsian Guard. Let's take a look at him real quick. He is molded in a somewhat olive green plastic with a lot of dark green highlights and washes on the head and body. He has a little bit of scuffing right there on the top of his head, a little noggin right there. The sculpt is really nice. There's a lot of textures. He has very nice copper colored armor. It looks fantastic. I love this color scheme. It's just really good. Like Triax, all of the armor pieces are separate softer plastic pieces that are put onto the figure during assembly. I love the little magenta highlights and the orange bandolier and belt. All his little holsters on the back, just like Triax. There are a lot of shared parts with these figures. Let's bring Triax in here and you can see what I mean. From the neck down, it is entirely the same body for the figure. The only thing new on the Ceratopsian Guard is the chest armor, the shin armor, and the wrist armor. Even the waist armor and the holsters that are attached to it are the same as Triax's armor. So that is a really good reuse of materials and parts. This copper paint looks fantastic on these armor pieces, especially those scaled shin guards. It looks really good. There are going to be some nicks in the paint as far as like the magenta and stuff is concerned. Some of the paint is a little bit sloppy, like on this belt. It's not completely painted properly. There's a big nick on the front of this bandolier, which looks bad. Those are relatively minor nitpicks considering the price point of $30. Now, articulation. Just like Triax, he has the double jointed neck and ball joint. So he has a lot of motion with the head. He also has the... His jaw just popped out. That's a good feature. It is, fortunately, just pegged into place. Slots right up there. And it opens. The mouth will open. I don't know why it's wanting to fall off the... That's pretty annoying. I don't like parts that fall off of figures out of the box. That being said, it's not like it breaks. Just like Triax, his articulation is completely identical. He has the waist bobble, which does pretty good. It's somewhat hindered by the armor, but not too much. The shoulders are hinged and swiveled. Hinged and swivel elbow. The elbow is a little bit loose. He has the hinge and swivel wrists, which are somewhat hindered with the hinge by this massive gauntlet. The ball jointed thighs. with the knee cut and twist. Get a lot of rotation. You can actually kick up if you wanted them to. Hinged and rockered ankles. As far as accessories are concerned, he comes with this pretty cool little spear. I like the design on the head. They made sure to, at least in some fashion, try to make the accessories look less generic than they typically would with like a flat spearhead. This is a very pyramid-esque looking spike on the end of this spear. He has this gas mask. I love this. It reminds me of Toxic Crusaders and this magenta on gray with orange. The paint isn't that good on it. It's kind of sloppy. This is going to be a continuing thing with this line. I think the paint apps are going to be mediocre at best. But for what it is, I think it looks good. He has this magenta knife. Again, not painted very well, but I love the magenta on these weapons. They look fantastic. He has the same blaster as Triax and the same grenades in different colors. So there are a lot of reused parts and bits. The knife is going to be a bit tight as it is painted. Be cautious of that. You don't want to have any paint rub. That is a very tight fit. It's not as smooth as Triax's was. So that's a bummer. The pistol fits in snugly in the back. And then the spear should slot right into this split right there, and it holds very well. I am worried about this mask because if you pull it on and off regularly, you probably will scratch this wash on his head. But we'll see what we can do. Not exactly sure how it fits. I don't want to scratch his eyes. I wish it was a softer plastic. Okay. The mask does not go on as easily as you would expect it to. But it does go on. It's not as snug and fit as it should be. I don't know what the issue is. It might be the little knobs on the end, but it doesn't hold on there very well. So I don't know what they were thinking with that. So as mentioned, this is a 5.5-inch scale action figure line. It's not going to fit in very well with other lines. The closest thing it might fit in with is a 3 3/4-inch action figure line like G.I. Joe or Joy Toy. Surprisingly, this spear doesn't fit very well in the hand. All the other accessories fit decently. The knife is a bit loose. Can't hold his grenades. Be cautious with these grenades. This magenta paint might fleck off if you play with it, pushing it in and out of the hands very often. And of course, his pistol will fit well in his hand. It's not a perfect fit, but it does go. Fortunately, these pauldrons will move out of the way when articulating this figure, and his mouth likes to get stuck shut. I don't know what the deal is with that. Be cautious when closing that mouth, as that bottom beak is going to rub that top beak and probably over time wear the paint off. Again, I don't like the bone color inside the mouth. I think that's very distracting. These figures are far from perfect, but I think for the price point and what you get with them and the solid construction and plastic quality, I think these are really good for the price. Ceratopsian Guard is okay. I think Triax is much better, but I love the color scheme. I love the magenta and copper. You can have Triax come in here and face off against the Ceratopsian Guard if you want. These guys are fun. If you want your kids to have a dinosaur soldier, I think these are perfect toys for little kids. They definitely have a lot of play value. And a lot of, despite the giant bios, there's a lot of creativity to be had with these. I think they're fantastic. I think these are lovely action figures. I think they're going to look great on the shelf, especially if you have like 100 of these guys. Just off the first impressions of these first two figures, I'm all in. The Ceratopsian Guard is not perfect by any means. He has some issues that Triax did not. But despite those, he still is fun and looks good. I'm not typically an army builder, so I won't be buying any more than this one guy, especially considering the issues he has. Anyway, this has been an unboxing and review of Boss Fight Studios, Saurozoic Warriors, Ceratopsian Guard, and I am your Supreme Toys. Thank you so much for watching.